Other items in the show. And for me growing up, my mom had the tropical hibiscus. And I mean, I loved them. She'd bring them out on the deck. I mean, I think she had like 5 or 6 pots. They trimmed the whole deck, but every fall she had to bring them inside. And when she would bring them inside, it was heavy. It was like a whole haul. And sometimes you'd bring in other things that were on our hibiscus, other critters. Yeah, right. Well, and then it just became another problem that you had to manage. I think this is so cool because if you're to plant hydrangeas, or excuse me, hibiscus outside, if it's a tropical version, they don't survive. These are native. So you're getting a hardy hibiscus. You're gonna get the most big, beautiful, jaw-dropping blooms in 2 different colors. You get this lilac shade, and then you also get that really deep, almost like a ruby red. $49.98 for both. So that means each one is only about $25. Now you saw this earlier, but here's the deal. We have fewer than 150 to go around. That's it for the season. So this is a really good time to add something truly the wow, the showstopper.
Showstopper.
I'm going to warn you, you're going to get questions from your neighbors. Like, especially if they grew up like me, like, how did you get this growing? So walk us through what this hibiscus is.
Okay, so we got 2 different colors here. This is the cranberry crush, and it has huge flowers. They're about 8 inches in diameter, and it's going to bloom from midsummer through the frost. I grow a lot of hibiscus in my garden, and I use it as the backbone of my summer garden. They're beautiful. And they, like you said, they're showstoppers. So you can see them if you're driving 50 miles an hour, you can see them along the side of the road. You can see them in the back of your border, and they just produce beautiful color from midsummer up into the frost. And they're super easy to take care of. You get them established, and they just do their thing all summer and fall, and then all I do is I cut them back in the spring, and they resprout, and they're beautiful.
And you cut them all the way down to the ground.
I cut them all the way down to the ground.
Okay, good to know.
Because the whole stem dies down to the ground.
I also think this, what you're seeing, is the easiest way to plant anything, because this is already a few years old.
Right, that's probably 2 years old at least.
Okay, look how established the root system is.
Yeah, so that's ready to go. So there's a lot of nutrients and energy in those roots. You plant it, and it will just take off.
And you can see too, like if you look, this is where it had been down to the ground. So that's about how deep we bury it.
Right, exactly. In a nice sunny location, 6 hours of sun a day. It can take wet conditions. It can grow along ponds and streams. It enjoys full sun, and it'll just do its thing for years and years and years. I have had some for about 20 years. Wow. They're long-lived plants, easy to take care of.
How tall and wide again?
It gets about 5 feet tall by about 4 feet wide.
Okay.
And it stops at that size. So don't worry about becoming a tree or taking over too much space. It's well behaved in your garden, and it's just going to stay this nice size that's manageable.
I like that phrase, a well-behaved.
Yes.
We could do a whole garden show and just put plants that are well-behaved.
Oh, that would be very polite.
Right? These are well-behaved plants. Yeah, they do make a big presence and they fill the space, but they're not going to go crazy. So you could put them, though, in pots if you choose.
You could put them in containers. I have a friend who lives in Philadelphia, and he's grown in a container for many years, so definitely. They do kind of catch the wind, so you want to use a heavy pot so they don't fall over and crack, so something heavy would be good. But definitely you could put them in pots.
I love that you're getting 2 in different varieties of colors. So these are out on the deck or filling. Now, we talked about the last plant, too, if you're looking to kind of create a little bit of privacy.
Right.
These have so much foliage.
Right, they are thick, so they could really do a nice screen.
Yeah, so if you want to pick up on 2, then you'd have 4. You can kind of really create this nice
nice row, right? Like a hedge of them, a beautiful hedge.
Yeah, and alternate would be really fun. $49.98, you're getting 2 different colors. It's M134432. We are getting down to a little bit of the last of our season. So I do want to remind you with a couple things. Whether you're gifting this or whether you're picking it up for yourself, the growing guide is always so handy. Everything that you need to know. I actually keep mine, they're all in a stack in my kitchen next to my recipes.
Oh, nice.
Imagine that.
Place of honor.
Yes, right. I keep all of it right. So they're a really nice thing to help. And then you do have any questions that you might have about your plants. This is with anything that you're picking up from Cottage Farms. You can always shop with confidence. And there's a warranty as well that you could read more about on QVC.com. But M134432. I love the hibiscus because I think they just feel so tropical. But in this case, you're not fighting against trying to make a tropical plant work on the East Coast or the Midwest or somewhere where you normally couldn't grow them.
Right, it's total tropical looking, but it's perfectly winter hardy, so it's a great deal. And the flowers are so big, they're showstoppers.
And they just keep churning them out.
They do. So, you know, the individual flowers don't last that long. They'll fall off, but there are always flowers coming. So behind them will be buds that will open up and buds behind that. So it's kind of a conveyor belt of flowers, just pushing new flowers out, and they always look great.
They're kind of like the grand finale in a show, but then it just keeps going. It's going to take a little time for it to build, as you described. Like, it's not just popping up with blooms in the spring. Right? It builds a little bit, and then you get that wow. Okay, so JP, remind me again how many we've sold. So since we started the show, in the hibiscus, we've sold through a third of our quantity already. So if you want to make sure you get these, we have less than, oh gosh, that means there's only 125. So that's not very many. All right, free shipping and handling, it's M134432. I think a great opportunity to pick these up today. Alan, it was such a treat to work with you.
You as well, this was fun.
Yeah, thanks for being with us. All right, if you want to see any of the items that we aired, you can always check items recently aired on QVC2, shop our entire Cottage Farms show. But Justin Sachoka is on the other side.